Based on the flurry of developments over the last few days, it still remains unclear what the actual outcome of the meeting will be. I don't think it's going to lead to any kind of permanent deal. Even President Trump has hinted at that. This might be the beginnings of a framework for future negotiations. Maybe, best case scenario, we'll get some kind of temporary ceasefire. Yeah, that's a great question in terms of who's got the upper hand. I would still argue the U.S. has more cards, and this is one of President Trump's favorite terms to use from a negotiating perspective. And the U.S., I would argue, has not used all of its leverage or more of its leverage over Russia to halt the campaign, certainly over the last several months. So that those are in reserve, those cards that President Trump has not yet put on the table. And again, whether he will drop them on the table tomorrow remains a fascinating case study that historians and policy analysts are going to write books for decades going forward because you have two very strong-willed men in control of two of the most powerful countries on earth, certainly the US being the most. And whether this will be sort of the stare down moment that people think, sort of like a Yalta 1945 with Churchill and Roosevelt and Stalin on the battleship Missouri, kind of carving up the post-World War II order. I don't think we're going to get to that moment, but still, anytime you get two leaders like this in a room together, there are going to be some fascinating dynamics and that interplay of their personal relationship, but then again, their leadership positions of these two very important countries and how that all plays out tomorrow will just be really interesting to see.
Probably Putin has the upper hand. He feels very confident that his isolation from the West is ending. He's been invited to the United States, even though he's an indicted war criminal. He knows that President Trump really wants to say that he's a successful peacemaker, that he's a candidate for the Nobel Peace Prize. And the other thing that President Trump wants and President Putin wants too is to improve the economic relationship. The American side has prepared all of these deals, prospective deals, Alaskan oil that the Russians should invest in, rare earth minerals. Putin wants sanctions relief. His economy is struggling. He's got the prospect of all these economic deals. So I think he's coming into this feeling fairly self-confident. And yet how this war ends will have a major impact, obviously, not only on Ukraine, but on its European supporters. They've gone to great pains, the Europeans, with Ukraine to try and persuade President Trump not to agree to sign a deal in which Ukraine would have to give up territory that Russia doesn't even control and make promises never to join the West. And therefore, they have had these intense interactions with President Trump, including yesterday. And they're hopeful that they're all on the same page. But given the way that President Trump vacillates between praising and criticizing Putin and criticizing Zelenskyy and occasionally praising him, I don't think that they would be right to be too confident that whatever they think they've agreed to with President Trump will in fact happen. President Trump admires Putin. He's admired Putin all along. He admires strong men. He has a fascination with Russia. He's been wanting to do business with Russia since he went to the Soviet Union in 1987. He's wanted to build that Trump Tower. He thinks there are endless business possibilities there. That's actually belied by the experience of US businesses, certainly in the last decade. But he has this fascination. And he believes somehow that Putin is his friend. Putin is a former KGB case officer. He's a former judo champion. He is very good at understanding people's weaknesses, at understanding how to flatter people, to manipulate them, how to appeal to them. So I have no idea what he really thinks about Donald Trump, but I think he certainly sees an opportunity in President Trump to improve US relations and to get Russia the recognition that he believes that it deserves.